in Apex, it's hard to argue the fact that Wraith isn't the most well-known character. Like, I don't even have to look up stats and stuff to know that she's always the most popular and picked character in the game. If you just do a quick search, you'll see that she's always up there with the people with the highest win rates, the most picked character, and she's always in all the competitive teams and used by a lot of top Apex players because of how useful she can be in so many different situations, both offensively and defensively. And while she's easy to pick up, mastering her is something else. I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination, Ray, that I'm even close to some of the top players in the game, either in skill or in knowledge. But I do know how to play Wraith, and how to play it well, so today I'm going to be going over how you can improve playing Wraith, and just giving you some overall tips. Step 1 is buy the kunai. If you haven't done that, there's just no point bothering. Why are you even trying? Why are you here? What are Wraith's abilities? I feel like one of the big reasons as to why Wraith is so popular is because, like I said earlier, she's so versatile and her abilities can be used so creatively. And I think that a good Wraith player, like most of us, a good player in general, can decide the outcome of a fight. But a good Wraith player in particular can decide it even more so, just because of her abilities and her moveset. Start off with her passive ability, and this is called Voices of the Void. This basically means, right, when she gets aimed at, she'll get a notification saying, you'll get a voice that'll go off and say you've been aimed at, which on paper, and actually off paper, isn't even that useful in a fight anyway. But it can be quite useful, especially if you listen closely. It will tell you if you've been aimed at by a sniper, and especially if you're out in the open, you've got no cover. You could be a free kill there. But luckily, she has the perfect counter to this, and that's her tactical ability called Into the Void. Into the Void allows Wraith to go invincible and invisible. Well, she leaves a blue trail behind her when using this so it's not too overpowered, but it allows you to be in this state for about 3 seconds. But you have to be careful, this ability does take a few seconds to use. Like the wind up till you're actually in this state can take, I think it is 3 seconds. So just be careful of that. But once you're in that state, you're going to get out of so many situations you shouldn't have been in. Like, for me, I know that's gotten me out of so many situations that I should have and probably could have died in. But because I had that, and I was just able to get out of that fight as quick as I could and survived. It's such a clutch move, really. Like I said a minute ago, it does take about 2 to 3 seconds until you're in this state, but it's always better to use that ability too soon rather than too late, because 3 seconds, whilst it doesn't sound like a long time, it's about a third of a Phoenix kit, and those 10 seconds on the Phoenix are the longest 10 seconds of my life. So you've just got to just always be in mind of your health, and use that if you feel like you're going to die. That's the main reason that it's there. I mean, you can use it in other situations, like if you're pinned into a building, separate from your team, you go upstairs, and if they're on the bottom floor, you go up the stairs, open the door and use your ability. You have to open the door if it's not open, because you can't go through walls or doors or anything whilst in the phase. You can't open doors or run through them. So you can just use it to reposition yourself, basically, is what I'm trying to say. I also want to say that you also run a little bit quicker whilst in your phase. And onto a final ability, which is her ultimate. It's called Dimensional Rift. And for me, this is probably why she's in every pro team and is so popular, because this lets her place 2 portals and allows anyone to travel through them as many times as they want without taking any damage, which is as overpowered as it sounds. And like the rest of her abilities could be so versatile, and you could be so creative in how you use this. I do want to say though that you can only place the portal about, I think it is 75 meters. So try and ping, if you're trying to move, try and ping where you're going to go to see if you can reach it, and if not, it'll let you know how far you've got to run. And once you've used it, the portal disappears at 35%. Do you know the ultimate thing at the bottom? It says how far it's recharged. At 35%, that's when it disappears, so always be careful of that. But as to how you can use it, there's more ways than I can list. I can make a whole video just saying how you can use their ultimate. But just a few of the most common ones. Say your teammate's down, and you and your other teammate are in a building, they're outside the building, they've just gone down. So you can just place your portal, and then they'll crawl into the portal, and then your teammate's back in the building. So this puts the other team into a difficult position, whether they push you or they just leave you. Most of the time it's smarter just to push, because they'll be in a 3v2 and probably win, but if not, you've just got your teammate up for free. But you can use it for making safe rotations, or getting to different areas safely, or if you're just pinned down, you just make a portal to somewhere to get you to a better vantage point, you and your team to somewhere better with better cover, or into a different building. It's just something you can basically use to get your team to move for free. And offensively, I feel actually vile saying this, but you can use this as a third party tool. I know I feel disgusting. But basically, you just place this portal, you and your team, they follow you through it, you clean up the teams that are fighting, because they're all going to be alone. And that portal gives you a free escape, basically. So if you get into that, as a third party scum you are, you start losing, you can take that back, and you're safe again. You go through back and heal, and then take it back, and then try and win. All of portals are probably the hardest thing to master, because placing a bad portal is probably worse than not using your portal at all. What I mean by this is, always try and place your portal behind some sort of cover, whether that's a wall, or a big rock, or maybe one of those cars you see on World's Edge, or somewhere that's just not in the open. Because if either end of the portal is in the open, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, especially if you're low and someone knows that you're low. The team knows that you're low, right? You take a portal, but one end's in the open. It doesn't matter which end. And they see you take it, or going to take it, you're just going to be a free kill. So always take that extra second or two to just try and place it behind some cover. Even if it's just a little bit of cover, some's better than nothing. Wraith's role. In a team, Wraith should almost always be the first person to engage in a fight, because essentially her role in the team is to just do as much damage as she possibly can without going down herself. But this doesn't mean you can just run straight at a team. You should always try and play as smart as you can, because you've got the phase. Doesn't mean you should just rely on that. You've got to know when to use your phase and when. Basically, what I'm trying to say is you've got to try and find the balance between doing enough damage to the team and knowing when to get out of the fight. So what you do is you get into the fight, you do as much damage to one person as you can, try and go for the knock, but if you can't, it doesn't matter, because your team's already going to be a big advantage. If you get the knock, that's going to be huge for your team. So say you've got the knock, you phase out, you tell your team that you've knocked one, and then this puts them, and then you heal as quick as you can, either using a battery or picking up an armor swap if there's one nearby, and getting straight back into that fight as quick as possible, because full healing won't matter, you're already an advantage. But you always got to try and remember, don't be too greedy in this situation, because you've got one knock, it doesn't mean you can try and go for the full team wipe. Just remember just to play properly, try and do as much damage as you can, and just get out of, because if you manage to go down, or everything you've done is virtually for nothing. Because even if you knock one and you go down yourself, your team's still in the same situation, it's still an even fight. You're doing this to put yourself and your team at an advantage. What weapons should you be using on Wraith? Like, if you haven't figured out already, the point of Wraith, she's best used at close range. So you need to be using the close range weapons, the submachine guns, the shotguns. The weapons I recommend using are The I-99 and the Vault, obviously. The Peacekeeper if you can find it, if not the Mastiff. I know some people prefer Mastiff to Peacekeeper, it's personal choice, either are good. And the Prowler. I say all of these because they're all good at doing a lot of damage really quickly over a short distance. And that's what you need to be doing in a team. That's what you need to be doing as the Wraith player. You need to be doing as much damage as you can. So using something like the longbow or any other sniper, it's kind of a waste. You should leave them to the Gibbies of your team if you're playing for Gibby. And I'll explain why when I do my Gibby video, which will be coming out in the future. So look out for that. I mean, yeah, you can use other weapons like the R301 or the Spitfire or the Flatline. If they're weapons that you prefer over the close range, you can use them. Like, they're still all good weapons, but I'm saying the R99 and such are just the more effective weapons. But if you think you're better with the Flatline than you are the Vault, take the Flatline. At the end of the day, it's just what you're going to do the most damage with. But I'm just saying that a spray weapon on Wraith is a must. So, what I mean by spray weapon is like an automatic gun. I wouldn't take a Wingman and a Mastiff. I'd always make sure I have a Vault or something with me. My thoughts on Wraith. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this before, but I am a Wraith main. That's why I'm making this video now, because she's the character I know the most about and I've played the most amount of games with her out of anyone. But it's hard to defy the fact that she is, and somehow, even though she's been nerfed into the graveyard, she's still one of the most popular and meta legends in this game. I understand she isn't the most fun legend to play in the game just because she hasn't got the most fun movement like Horizon or Pathfinder. She's stuck on the ground running. So I understand why people don't play her, but to me she suits my playstyle so much because like I like playing Horizon, but when you're in the lift it's so hard to aim, and my long range sprays are so vile. Honestly, I can't aim for long range. So that's why I like playing as Wraith, because it allows me to get up and close and personal into a fight, and I like to play aggressive, and I feel like I play best, under pressure and making those split-second decisions and things like that make me stay on my toes and work quick. Wraith allows me to do this, and if I play too aggressive or I do make a mistake, I've got the phase to rely on. And I like being like a support character as well, so her portal also helps with that. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you all liked and hope somebody learnt something out there. Remember to like and subscribe, it would help me out a lot. And I'm going to be doing more videos like this for other characters. I'm going to do one for every character, and I hope they're going to be out soon. I'm going to work as quick as I can to do them. So if you don't play Wraith, do you play... My next one's Gibby, so if you play Gibby, just look out for that one. But I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.